On our YouTube world, it's Jay Coffee on the vid. Back at it, and as always, if you're new, hit the buttons and all that. Subscribe. I want to talk it up with y'all on the news topics and stories. On this one, we're covering a observational tweet. I'm just scrolling across the timeline and see Elon Musk put this tweet out there, and I was like, popped over to his page to see, was this based on a series of tweets that he was speaking about? Does this have something to do with the news the other day, what happened in Minnesota, that SHOOTER that went to that private school, the church mass was going on, and individuals said that he was a TRANS. It's a wild time we're living in, man, with this social media age, right? Like, I was already a grown man before this started becoming a thing. It's just wild to think a lot of generations are born into this social network age, and it's just, that's how it is and how it's been. And I don't know, like, comment your thoughts about all that, and if you believe it will have a major influence on society. I mean, everything has an influence on everything and everyone, if you will, but this just seems to be about identity, right? And going through one's life. Identity is always a thing. People want to find themselves or whatever. But I come to see that Elon is speaking about something, I guess, from his own personal life within this tweet in a way. Because that's what I was saying, is they're like, what is this based off? Or is this just his inner dialogue that he's having, monologue, thinking like what, what people, he says, my observation is that a major driver of white males becoming TRANS is the relentless propaganda portraying white men as the worst human beings. If those lies land, especially during vulnerable teen years, and they are given an option to be a quote unquote celebrated group, some will do it. Now, again, I'm like, whoa, where did this come from? Well, people, a simple Google, you'll see, because people in here are calling him out, or not calling him out, responding to this, saying, like, you're an absentee dad. Like, right, let's see here. Interesting theory. It may also explain why so many white women support TRANS mania, despite the harm it causes them and their kids. Elon says 100. So he's seconding that, like, okay, you know what I mean? And then someone says, stop making weird hypotheticals as an excuse for being a shitty absentee father. You can't be serious. This is your dumbest take yet. We get it, Elon. The only reason you left the Democratic Party was because you are mad your kid became TRANS. Sorry you couldn't control and manipulate their choices. And then we pop over to here. Oh, here's the thing, too, about the SHOOTERS, because that was something that the news did put out there. And that's the thing. Again, everyone hit the button, subscribe. But more importantly, like, let's talk about this. You know what I mean? Do you think this is a thing, what Elon's saying, that is going to become true? Or do you think he's just thinking about his own personal life so much, as we're about to get over to that article? But just, with the social media issue, you can't get lost in the sauce. Like, that's the thing, is like, it's a powerful tool. Politicians, political parties use it, businesses use it, you know what I mean? Some feel like that's why there is the whole follower aspect of things, that's like a mental thing to try to influence people to become more comfortable with being followers than leaders. You know what I mean? That, like, look at how many followers I got, which has always been a thing even before social media, but it says approximately 1% of people in the U.S. aged 13 and older identify as TRANSGENDER. And this is the issue Republicans want to gang their hat on. Here's another stat. Mass SHOOTERS since 2018 who were TRANS, 4. Mass since 2018 who were not, 4,193. Hope that helps. Now, I don't know if that's 100% accurate. You know what? Let's ask Grok, actually. Hold on. Let's ask Grok. Grok, is this accurate? The meme in this tweet, and we'll throw that up. And yeah, but I was like, damn, where did this come from that Elon Musk is celebrating that, or celebrating, what am I talking about? That people want to be celebrated, that they're gonna go that way and change their identity or whatever, or looking for an identity to be a celebrated group. Apologies, I'm just thinking out loud about all this. This is pretty wild, like just to see Elon talking about this, you know what I mean? But while we wait for Grok to let us know about that, this is the thing that Elon is going to, right? Elon Musk's trans daughter in first interview says he berated her for being QEER as a child. In an exclusive interview, Vivian Jenna Wilson said her father's recent statements, including that she is not a girl, inspired her to speak out. I'm not just going to let that slide. Musk's daughter told NBC News that Musk wasn't tricked into allowing her to receive trans treatment. Vivian Jenna Wilson, the daughter of Elon, said Thursday in her first interview that he was an absent father who was cruel to her as a child for being QEER and feminine. Wilson, 20, in an exclusive interview with NBC News, responded to comments that Musk made Monday about her and her trans ID on social media. And in an interview posted online, Musk said she was not a girl and was figuratively dead, and he alleged that he had been tricked into authorizing the treatment. So this is where this is coming from with Elon, I guess. Like, and listen, not just speaking about this situation, society in a lot of ways is taking parenting away from parents. And I'm not speaking about this. I'm just saying, like, the youth have found a lot of ways to use, like, you know, cut up and do some wild shit at school or something. And then if they just talk about, hey, I'm triggered, I'm flucking up out here and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just hard to explain exactly what I'm speaking about. But it's like, you know, when I was a kid, if I flucked up at school, my parents' pops would go upside my head in the middle of a grocery store if he needed to. And, you know, was that the right way? Does that help? Not really. You know what I'm saying? But you shouldn't teach kids to not listen to their parents is all what I'm getting at. Like, we went from, that's what happens in life, is things go from one extreme to the another. Like, when I was coming up, I would get my ass whooped. You know what I mean? Like, get hit with a frying pan in the middle of a grocery store, and no one would say shit, you know? And my parents would be like, yo, you think you got it hard? We had it super hard when we were young. You know, we used to have to kneel on shattered glass and shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? No cap. But now, when you're coming up and you're looking for what you're doing in life and you don't want to get in trouble or whatever, like, a lot of the youth has figured out all they got to do is talk about, use certain keywords, and, like, they find ways around from listening to their parents at all. It's like, it's just kind of wild what I'm speaking of, but it's really a thing. Like, it's good that mental health is more focused on now. Like, back in the day, it wasn't a thing at all. But when you take it to the total other polar opposite, to, you know, kids ain't learning lessons because they're just trying to manipulate the system and get people to feel bad for them and shit, that ain't helping no one, if that makes any mistakes, you know? But if that makes any mistakes, if that makes any sense, if you will. But getting back to talking about this situation, you know, and this is the whole thing we saw with Dwayne Wade. This is the whole thing that we saw with Dwayne Wade, where his whole situation was put out there, that his kid made those decisions before they were 18. And then, you know, the alphabet mob is like, you can't tell. And it's like, we're getting into parenting and identity and all this other ish. It's just like, you know, regardless of how anyone feels, right? Are people allowed to raise their kids anymore? You know what I mean? And then you throw into what Elon's saying. He's saying this whole other situation, trying to find what exactly is happening in his own life. Like, there's just so many aspects to this all. But he's saying he was tricked into doing this. But the kid's saying that, right? And it says Musk's recent statements crossed a line. she said. I think he was under the assumption that I wasn't going to say anything and I would just let this go unchallenged, Wilson said in a phone interview, which I'm not going to do, because if you're going to lie about me like blatantly to an audience of millions, I'm not just going to let that slide. Wilson said that for as long as she could remember, Musk hasn't been a supportive father. She said he was rarely present in her life, leaving her and her siblings to be cared for by their mother or by nannies, even though Musk had joint custody. And she said Musk berated her when he was present. He was cold. He was quick to anger. He is uncaring and narcissistic. Wilson said that when she was a child, Musk would harass her for exhibiting feminine traits and pressure her to appear more masculine, including by pushing her to deepen her voice as early as elementary school. I was in 4th grade. We went on this road trip that I didn't know was actually just an advertisement for one of the cars. I don't remember which one. And he was constantly yelling at me viciously because my voice was too high. It was cruel. Musk didn't respond or to a request for comment. So it seems that's what this observational tweet is about. Like, I knew it had to come from somewhere. I mean, sometimes people just want to talk about certain things, but I was like, this just seems like a wild thing to just jump out the woodwork with. And okay, so this kid, you know what I mean? This is based on all that. This is his response to all that. Like, in a comment, everyone, your thoughts, how you feel about it all, about parenting, about this whole identity thing, about the social network age, about the whole rainbow stuff being pushed out there to the level in which it is, about all this. You know what I mean? Now, as a college student studying languages, Wilson has never granted an interview before and has largely stayed out of public view. She did, however, attract attention in 2022 when she sought court approval in Cali to change her name and in the process denounced her father. So I don't know if the kid was an adult yet at that time in 2022 or not, but ain't that what was going on in those like sanctuary cities where kids basically could just run off and do whatever they wish and please without their, parents, guardians or whatever. I'm no longer live with or wish to be related to my biological father in any way, shape, or form, she said in the court filing. She told NBC News at the time she was surprised by the media attention to the court filing, which she submitted when she was 18. She said in the interview that she stands by what she wrote, though she said she might have tried to be more eloquent had she known the coverage it would get. I mean, you're the kid of Elon Musk, and, this personal shit coming out, of course, people are going to be all, the news is going to dive into it. They dive into everything. And Elon being who he is, of course it is. But I guess the kid didn't realize that, right? I would like to emphasize one thing. I am an adult. I am 20 years old. I'm not a kid. My life should be defined by my own choices. So 20 now in 2022, the kid would have been what? 17 or 17 going on 18. I guess they basically were an adult already. Musk threw a spotlight on Wilson on Monday by speaking about their relationship in a video interview with psychologist and conservative commentator Jordan Peterson streamed live on X, saying he didn't support the gender ID. I lost my son, essentially. He used the birth name, also known as dead name. That's, I guess, in that whole world, that's like that, the whole dead date thing. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know much about this stuff, but it's like at the end of the day, man, our families being ripped apart, our parents having their rights taken away. Like, we're just talking about so many things here. Again, everyone, that's the whole idea behind the J Coffee Talk platform. This ain't the typical thing we talk about, but I just see Elon going off on this tweet. This has to be something, and we've gotten to the root of what it is. And in a post on X Monday said that Wilson was born GAY and slightly autistic, and that at age 4 she fit a certain GAY stereotypes such as loving musicals and using the exclamation fabulous to describe certain clothing. He doesn't know what I was like as a kid because he quite simply wasn't there. And in a little time that I was relentlessly harassed for my femininity and queerness. Pause. So I don't know, man. I'm not going to continue reading on this, but we've gotten to what this is all about. What does it say too? After Musk bought X, then known as Twitter, in 2022, he rolled back the app's protection for trans individuals, including a ban on using dead names. I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that, and we're making some progress. So, Elon's quote unquote going at it with the whole woke stuff. You know, it's not just about society, it's about his own personal life. But there you have it, man. I'm not going to dive in any deeper on this. Let's talk about it all. Parenting, ID, the evil white people. Let's talk about it all up in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. We talked about a lot on here. Let's talk about it.